Thank you, sir, for allowing me to speak on this bill. So, Mr. Nelson Mandela famously said, and I quote, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way it treats its children." So the irony is that I recite this quote in times when numbers reveal that our children are not safe. The Supreme Court registered a PIL seeking a concrete and concerted response by the nation towards zero tolerance of sexual assault on children. So, most astonishingly, 24,212 cases of child sexual assault or abuse have been registered from 1st January to 30th June of this year. Around 6,600 cases have been on trial, and out of this, most shockingly, sir, only 4% have been decided. Now, the POSCO, we welcome this step, sir. Is a very gender-neutral law, and we welcome this bill. The intention of the bill is to curb child sexual abuses by introducing a stringent punishment. This is very praiseworthy in this aspect. The bill introduces a definition for child pornography to fill the lacunae that existed in the law till now. The bill also internalizes technological advances by laying down provisions for penalizing child pornography transmitted or stored in a wide range of mediums. So, this legislation faces a limitation while attempting to bring about a social change. And in the words of Dr. Ambedkar, and I would quote, "For regeneration of a community, social, economic, moral forces are far more vital, and political forces are only a means to the social, economic and moral regeneration of a people," unquote. On this note, sir, I would like to take the opportunity to point out the flaws in the bill in certain parts. Firstly, sir, the draft of the bill is ambiguous at certain instances. The bill falls flat in its promise to strict punishment for child pornography. In some instances, the perpetrator may just walk away with a paltry fine, sir. Or amount is how much? 5,000, 7,000? Which is very insignificant, I feel. Secondly, sir, amended sections 15(1) and 15 subsection 2 both prescribe different punishments for similar offence: storing pornographic material with the intention of transmitting child pornography. The first clause only prescribes a fine. The second clause punishes the offence with imprisonment or fine. So why does the bill prescribe two sorts of punishment for the same nature of crime is very confusing for us. Under the amended section 15 and 45, child pornography has to be reported to a designated authority. The bill delegates rulemaking power regarding the manner of reporting, but not regarding the designation of such an authority. I would seek clarification from the Honorable Minister regarding the designation of such authority, and why isn't there any clause regarding this in this bill or memorandum of delegation The clause classifying...
Please conclude. Your party has another speaker.
Sir, there are 11 minutes, sir.
You are not speaking? Okay.
Thank you.
Continue.
The clause classifying sexual assault on child in courts of sectarian and communal violence as aggravated penetrative sexual assault has been substituted, sir, in this bill in place of violence during natural calamity. This has come in the bill. These categories of offences are not comparable, sir. The purpose of substitution is unclear, especially in times of communal unrest that the country stands witness to. The bill lays down that fine imposed on the perpetrator shall be transferred to the survivor. It would be more prudent, sir, if there was a fund from which this fine could be paid to the victim, and later when this is exacted from the perpetrator, this could solve many problems. This could actually act as a buffer, absorbing the shock and undoing all delays in such cases. Also, sir, the bill does not consider observations made by the Madras High Court suggesting that consensual sex, physical contact or allied acts of after the age of 16 be excluded from the ambit of POSCO Act. This the Madras High Court had observed. Also, sir, the POSCO is often misused to cover up cases of elopement or intercaste marriages. And we also need to look into the fact that this bill should look into the fact that any harassment under the POSCO, since the amendment would increase harassment as the law is being made more stringent, should be avoided. I maintain that there should be punishment for abuse, but there should also be an attempt to curb the misuse arising out of age of children fixed at 18 years in this case. So next I would like to draw the attention of the House towards the poor implementation and ineffectiveness of law related to child sexual abuses. Studies have shown that higher punishments do not have a deterrent effect on the rate of crimes committed. Year after year, the punishments prescribed for sexual assault on children and women have increased, but the rate of offences of this nature has shown steep rise. This is reflective of failure in state machinery and not, sir, in any lacuna of legislation. So, sir, we always know that justice delayed is justice denied. Yet, most trials are delayed or the perpetrators are often acquitted on grounds of insufficient evidences. This process adds on to the mental agony of the survivors, and this bill needs to look into it. The courts are overburdened with cases, and although a timeliness has been set up for deciding the cases of POSCO, that is, we have a timeliness of 1 year, it is mostly not met. So we should make it a point that once we have a provision, it is met. Until and unless it is met, it is of no value. Next, sir, I would like to say that there is a very special need. I would like to mention, I have a very close friend of mine in the judiciary, and I was talking to him prior to this bill, and we were discussing things, and what he had to say is that I was asking him, what are the difficulties you face, even when you understand that this person is guilty, yet he is getting through the loopholes. He said the first thing you should do is, you should see to it that we are so much overburdened. You don't have special courts or not like that. You should have not designated courts, but you should have dedicated courts for the purpose. So once you have dedicated courts, it is much easier to handle such cases. He was also of the opinion, and I would like the Honourable Minister to note it, that these courts should not be in the normal premises of the courtrooms where we often have very tainted persons who are already found guilty or maybe under trial of very heinous offences. Rather, the atmosphere should be completely different. They should be placed somewhere other than the courts in which this hardened criminals are tried. Also, sir, he had another thing to say, that we lack proper reporting of the DNA material and of all the other substantial medical evidences which need a very timely reporting. So in this case, it is very necessary, very much imperative that we look into the timely reporting of it. Also, I would like to say that my another suggestion is regarding the awareness of the law. Workshops should be conducted for children to create a safe space for them to recognize and speak about the issues of abuse. Awareness of adults is not enough, since most children are abused at the hands of their closed ones, who often enjoy their trust. And for this we know the aggravated part of this bill has come, aggravated sexual offence and aggravated sexual assault. Sir, also we have other number of concerns, sir, as vigilance you was also mentioning. So there is a matter of consent. The child, there should be a matter of consent in cases of people who are adolescents who are aged between 16 and 12 and 16, because most often than not we find that such thing is done without the consent of the victim, which is not very much expected to be done. And also, sir, I would say that there is a big issue regarding the treatment cost. So the treatment cost, here the law has cast obligations on medical fraternity and establishment to provide medical care. There are no proper facilities, or if the procedure costly, sir, in this case, what we see, until and unless the state to bear other of the hospitals providing a substandard medical treatment, or we may see them depriving the survivor from comprehensive treatment. Also, sir, there is a very important thing in that case is that there are many cases of consensual sex between the age of 16 and 18, sexual contact between two adolescents or between an adolescent and an adult are considered illegal under the POSCO Act 2012 because no exception has been granted in the Act under which an act of sexual encounter with a person under 18 years of age is an offence irrespective of the consent or the gender or marriage, sorry, repeat, sir, marriage or even the age of the victim of the accused. I'll conclude. Just please, 2 more minutes. Just, sir. However, it is proposed that any consensual sex act that may constitute penetrative sexual assault should not be an offence when it is between two consenting adolescents or both the adolescents will be charged with the POSCO Act. So this is the gender neutral. Both of them, if they are consenting and yet they are under the age of 18, both of them are being charged with rape. And sir, I will go here. What has been done? The latest amendment to the Indian Penal Code concerning rape laws 2013 clear reports that the age of consent for sex has been fixed at 18 years. So it amounts to for both of them. And here we are stressing upon reporting. So sir, if this goes on, and in such cases, we even have practices among certain tribals and especially in Kerala, we know. So if such cases we stress upon reporting and this goes on, then what will happen? We will register the highest number of rape cases in the world. Most unfortunately and deplorably, we will be looked upon as the rape capital of the world, sir, which we cannot afford to do, sir.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
sir,
you.
I'll just conclude.
Thank you.
With the last words, I'll conclude, sir. I'll conclude by saying, sir, a golden rule to, sorry, sir, though the POXO Act, abuse against children is a punishable offence, a few challenges remain to be answered. A multidimensional, multi-agency team and multi-tier approach, including access to the psychological support, is to be made available to deliver holistic, comprehensive care under one roof for victims of child abuse. And sir, I'll conclude with just
Thank
these
you.
words.
Thank you. I have to call the next
these
speaker.
words, sir. Sir, just these words. Larger societal changes are brought not just by amending the written words, but by affecting and appealing to the psyche of the people who collectively lie at the heart of this society, and invariably, this is for each legislation.
Thank
With this,
you.
Sir,
Thank you.
I thank
the
you
next
for
speaker is
letting me a patient in the house also.
Jai